Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the second Railbookers webinar of the day, our top 7 luxury holidays for 2021. That's me. I'm Gareth Jones. I'm the product manager of Railbookers. So in the world before this year, I was the one who's out and about on the trains quite a bit more than I have been this year, of course. Looking forward to presenting the webinar today. I did one this morning, which went really well, apart from I got 4 slides in and realized that nobody could hear me. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is, on the right-hand side, there should be a little area, it says questions. If you'd do me the great favor of popping a note in there, just let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from, and more importantly, that you can hear me okay. That way we can get started and have faith in being able to present properly. We have people as far afield as, Gordon, straight on the board. Thank you very much, Gordon, tuning in from Scotland. Good to hear from you. I hope you got the heating on. I'm up in York myself. It's pretty cold today. Lovely. Lots of you tuning in. Lots of you popping your names down. Great. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Wonderful. Let's get cracking, shall we? Okay. I'm not sure if this many people's first time to a Railbookers webinar or first encounter with Railbookers, but first, let's have a look at some amazing offers we've got on at the moment. So, any holiday to Scotland? Gordon, you're there already. But anyway, anybody else traveling to Scotland? If you're looking for, well, Gordon, you could take a holiday. You could take one of these holidays and save yourself £300 per couple if you're traveling for 4 nights or more. Switzerland, the same, £300 per couple, 4 nights or more. If you travel on the Venice Simplon Untitled Express from Venice, anytime next year, or even 2022. We have the dates for the VSWay for 2022 now. You save £300 per couple for a holiday of 5 nights or more. And then finally, if you're going to Italy at any point over the next 2 years and you book with Railbookers, get a small deposit paid at this stage, you save £400 per couple if you're going for 7 nights or more. If you're traveling independently or on your own, don't worry, you still get £200 saving. Right, as I said, if you are new to Railbookers, I hope this helps just in terms of outlining who we are and what we do. If you're familiar with Railbookers, sorry, you've probably heard it before, but it's worth going over again, I think. Who are we? Railbookers, well, of course, we're experts in rail. We know all about it, from the best routes, the most scenic routes, the best times, the best fares. We have access to all the rail fares before they're made available to the public. We have direct booking systems with all the rail operators. Now, this is very difficult because it's very hard to travel anywhere at the moment. So we can book a holiday to travel from today to 2 years in advance, okay, 2 years ahead. So 90% of our holidays are priced out through to 2022 at the moment. Now, next year, when things do open up a bit more and we're living in much more of a positive and open world, again, if you're looking to depart 2 days prior, we're able to get everything booked and in place and in your hand to be able to get away. Maximum flexibility. So we're going to look at some holiday packages shortly, but it's important to note that they can be chopped and changed anywhere you might wish, okay? Essentially, any destination, any date for any length of time, we can take care of it. If you want to add nights on, take nights away. If you come to us with an itinerary, say I want to go here, 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 and here, we can make that happen for you, okay? The largest rail product selection. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we're going to look at some luxury services now, some private trains, but also if you're going on a river cruise, pre and post, so before and after, take the train there, see a couple of places, or take a train holiday afterwards. A multi-city trip, a multi-country trip as well, combining Switzerland and Italy by train. Such a wonderful, joyful holiday. Or as I said, if you're looking to design your own itinerary from scratch, that's what we can do. And no rail trip is too complicated for us. What is confusing to most is easy to us. Really is. Maximum flexibility offer, that's in place until the end of the year. Basically means if you paid a deposit for a holiday, that holiday is covered. You can postpone your trip or change the travel dates up to 5 days prior to departure without any amendment fee from us. So we don't charge you for the act of changing the date. But as I said, that's just in place for bookings up until the end of this year. And when everyone does get traveling again, if you find yourself on the other side of the world on a Railbookers holiday, you have an emergency number to get through to one of our staff in one of our offices. We have an office in Sydney, Australia, 2 in the US on each coast. We've got an office in Toronto. We've got main office in London, we've got myself in York. Wherever you are in the world, you have emergency number, whatever the time, any problems, any questions, give it a call, get through to any of our staff who can assist. And this is again just highlighting some of our direct rail partnerships. Really, it's not just the national rail operators like Trenitalia, Deutsche Bahn, SBB in Switzerland, for example. It's also the private rail operators, the Belmonts who operate the Venice Simple and Orange Express, the Maharaja Express in India, the Golden Eagle that crosses Russia. They're all friends of ours. They're all partners of ours. Most of them we have a direct booking system in place with them. Now this slide here, the information here, again, hopefully we're not going to have to talk about it further down the line, you know, but it's good to bear in mind what traveling by train looks like at the moment in Europe. I've got facial coverings in stations and on trains for passengers and stuff. We're all crazily enough used to that now. Stopping the sale of food and drink on board trains. That's opening up. Most places now, most countries, you can get food and drink on board the train. The buffet car will be open. In Switzerland, on some of the scenic trains that we'll look at shortly, you can they'll serve you a meal at your seat, a freshly cooked meal. Now, it's important to highlight here as well the difference between taking a train to flying. If you're taking a train, there aren't the restrictions in place in terms of what you can take on board and what you can't take. You can take a picnic with you. You can stop off at Marks and Spencer's at St Pancras if you're on the Eurostar, get some sandwiches, a bottle of wine, a beer or something. You know, it's not the most glorious sight trying to eat a sandwich when you're wearing a mask, but you know, further down the line when we stop having to wear masks, it's a lovely way of just enjoying the journey, sat there with a little picnic, a glass of wine, admiring the view out the window. Changing seat configuration and allocation on board to allow for social distancing. Again, it depends where you are really. In France, of course, with the unions, the power of the French unions, the government have allowed them to run a TGV at full capacity if they wish. So there's not that in place. In Italy, they still do have social distancing in place. What's more obvious though is the one-way system as well. So one door at the end of the carriage is where people get on the train, and the other door at the end of the carriage is where people get off the train. So common sense in a way, really. Of course, increased cleaning and sanitation. And contactless ticket control. I often struggle to say that for some unknown reason, but we've got to get used to sort of showing our ticket on our phone or our device somehow and having it scanned. Now, if that's any problem at all, don't worry. We can, of course, print off the confirmation. All rail operators still allow a paper copy if they have one, but they're just trying to encourage the sort of e-world as much as possible, contactless. Anyway, right. Shall we have a look at some holidays? Yes, I hear you cry. Good, good. Thank you. Right. Well, first off to Scotland. Gordon, David, I understand you're both in Scotland. You're going to have to, I apologise in advance for my pronunciation. I really do. Anyway, Balmain, Royal Scotsman, the Highland journey. There's a few different itineraries of the Royal Scotsman. This is the shorter version. It's 2 nights on board the train. So this holiday, it's 4 nights in total. Starts with a night at the beginning and a night at the end in Edinburgh, but then spending 2 nights on board the train, and you've got some amazing off-board experiences as well. A private tour of the Culloden battlefield, a visit to Strathilsa Distillery, and clay pigeon shooting at the Rothiemurchus estate. The train itself is only very limited departures, to be honest with you. So next year, 7 departures spread between March and October. Okay, so very limited in terms of the number of departures. And the train itself only has a capacity of 40 people. So it's very, very kind of limited social environment on board. 15 twin cabins, a couple of double cabins as well, so a double bed rather than the 2 separate beds. One key point about this train is the size of the cabins as well. They're huge, they're really big, they're all en suite. You'll notice there's no bunk beds, so you don't have to worry about climbing up to the top bunk or anything like that. Okay. Amazing food and service on board. Of course, in the evening they have kind of guys on board telling stories about Highlands and things. Amazing, amazing service, it really is. And the beautiful kind of off-board experience as well. I think one of the only positive things that we can cling on to about this year in a way is how much perhaps we've discovered what we have more closer to home, and Scotland and the natural beauty of the country. I think a lot more people have become aware of it really, and it is jaw-dropping in some places. Again, apologies for the pronunciation, but the Rothiemurchus estate, beautiful in the heart of the Cairngorms, amazing scenery, amazing kind of wildlife opportunities you see up there, and the Battle of Culloden as well. Just such actually really kind of important history for the British Isles, the last battle of the Jacobite Rebellion, of course, as well. To Switzerland next, to Switzerland, right. The Grand Glacier Express Excellence class. So a couple of things in terms of the kind of the package here, the holiday. So first up, the name. Any holiday you see, the way we call it grand, the grand bit means it's based on first class travel. Okay, so all the travel here, apart from the flights, is in first class. All the rail travel in Switzerland, first class. On the Glacier Express, of course, you've got excellence class as well, which is we'll have a look at that in a minute. And anyway, here also the flights. So this package is based on flights. The package includes the flights. So it includes your airfare, it includes all the rail travel, it includes hotel accommodation, it includes breakfast at the hotel accommodation at the hotels as well, and all the sightseeing mentioned. So a trip on the Gornagrat here as well. The flight doesn't have to be from London, it can be anywhere in the UK. We work with all airlines. And if you don't want to fly, no problem at all. Of course, you can take the train from the UK straight to Paris, and then Paris direct TGV through to Zurich. Okay. Starting price base with the flights is just under £2,600 per person. If you are taking the train, I'd say that's going to be around about £2,800 per person. Okay. Train travel sadly is a little bit more expensive than airfares really. And a quick note, sorry, on the package, outside of the package here, questions. So the questions area is there where you've all very kindly kind of said hi to. I've seen a couple of questions pop up. What I'm going to do, if it's all right, please do keep the questions coming as we go along, but we do have a dedicated 3 or 4 minutes at the end of the webinar where I'll be able to get around to answer all the questions then, okay? But please do keep popping any questions you have into the questions area, okay? Thank you. Anyway, so here, yeah, so into Zurich, overnight Zurich, down to Zermatt for 2 nights, trip on the Gornagrat, full length of the Glacier Express in excellence class, 2 nights in St. Moritz to relax by the lake, and then back up to Zurich for your flight back. Quick note in terms of flying into Switzerland, it's brilliant. The major airports in Switzerland, Zurich and Geneva, are both so well connected with the rest of the country by rail. Very big train stations, easy to access, very regular trains throughout the whole country. Glacier Express Excellence class. So the most sought after daytime train seats in the world, I would say. No joke. Absolute luxury on board. It's probably the most luxurious day train, so a train you don't sleep on. In Europe, certainly in Europe, if not the world. As you can see by the image with the seats, it's only got 2 seats sat opposite one another. There's no tables for 4. The actual capacity of it is 20 seats, and there's only 1 carriage per train. You see the red carpet there, getting on board. You have your luggage taken care of for you, so it's all taken forward for you. What do you get on board? You get taken care of, you really do. 3-course lunch. Matching wines with your lunch as well. Swiss cheese board, Swiss wines. You can see there's a private bar just exclusive for the excellence class passengers as well. Every passenger in the excellence class gets an iPad or a little tablet to use for the journey, which tells you all about the landscape and what you're seeing. I mean, it's over 8 hours long, the journey, so it's quite a long journey. But as you'd imagine, the landscape you're passing through is breathtaking at parts, and it's just good to know the history and the names of what you're going on here as well. It's independent travel, so you're not traveling as part of a group at all. You can, of course, I've mentioned the per person prices for the package people based on 2 people sharing. Traveling on independent on your own, absolutely you can do that, no problem. We can take care of that. I don't have the pricing for the solos at the moment, but feel free to give us a call or drop us an email later on. I'm sure we'll be able to get some prices for you. But yeah, you're not traveling as part of a group at any point. The excellence class, you can do it in either direction as well. It's not just Zermatt to St. Moritz that way. You can do it St. Moritz to Zermatt. You do have to do the full length of the Glacier Express to be able to get into excellence classes. There. And of course, you get the joys of St. Moritz and Zermatt. I mean, 2 breathtaking Swiss, they are villages really as well. I feel funny calling them villages because they're relatively well known, but the size of them, they're both very small really. Zermatt first, in the shadows of the Matterhorn mountain. No cars at all in Zermatt. It's amazing. You can go around electric golf buggies really, and the hotels will come and pick you up in the golf buggies, or a horse and cart if you like. From Zermatt, the full day you've got there, you're going up to Gornegrat as well, which is the 2nd highest railway station in Europe after the Jungfrau Railway. It's the highest open air railway in Europe. All these mountain railways in Switzerland have all got their special selling points and the special flags. But you pass through some beautiful pine forests over beautiful bridges and stuff to the top of this plateau. And from there, you get an amazing view, not just of the Matterhorn, but some huge mountain range next to the Matterhorn in the area as well. And St. Moritz as well. St. Moritz synonymous with the kind of glitz and glamour of the jet set. Obviously, big ski destination in the winter, but during the spring, summer, you can still go up the cable cars, the gondolas to the top of the mountains. There's some nice kind of hiking around there. My favourite time to travel in Switzerland, May, June, really. You've got lots of the alpine flowers coming out, fresh air, sunshine, but still good amount of snow on all the mountain tops as well. Right, next up, over to Canada. Over to Canada here, another kind of amazing day train. It's the Rocky Mountaineer, and we've included on this holiday the Rocky Mountaineer and Via Rail, the national rail operator in Canada. So you're traveling on both. Now, Rocky Mountaineer, again, it's luxury private train, but you don't sleep on the train. Okay, you don't sleep on the train here. This particular holiday, we haven't included the flights. Flying out to Canada, so many different options. Starting price just over £3,000 per person. We can include the flights if you'd like us to, an additional cost, but for the pricing here, we haven't included them. Okay. So what have we got? Well, we've got 1 night in Vancouver, and then the Rocky Mountaineer, which goes to Camp Loops, 1 night in Camp Loops. What is a Camp Loops? It's a tiny little town that's essentially there for Rocky Mountaineer customers. It's different hotels there. Your luggage is fast tracked there. You overnight in a hotel, and then the next morning you get on the Rocky Mountaineer and you carry on. Okay. Carrying to Banff, 2 nights in Banff, and then from Banff to Lake Louise to Jasper, it's a transfer. Okay. And from Jasper, after 2 nights in Jasper, you've got a night on the Via Rail. Now, this Via Rail, it's the Canadian train, which is the train that travels the full width of Canada from Toronto to Vancouver. I did it myself many years ago, 4 nights on board the train. It's a long time to be on a train. Amazing how the country changes from day to day, and then you come through the Rockies. It's breathtaking. But here you're just spending 1 night from Jasper to Vancouver. Okay. Of course, the joys of the luxury train. We'll have a look at the great fun on board the trains as well. But the sheer scenery, where you are in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, makes this trip incredibly special as well. So on the journey, well, when you get to Banff, you've got a trip on the Banff gondola, which goes up to the top of the amazing sound mountain. If you ask me, the Sulphur Mountain. There's some great views across the Rockies. Up there is a restaurant up there to try some lunch and things as well. On the journey between Banff and Lake Louise, you pass through the Yoho and Banff National Parks, beautiful waterfalls and lakes. And then up to Jasper. Jasper, you've got a full day trip as well out into the mountains. You go to the Icefields Parkway. You get to go on an ice explorer. You might have seen images in those. I wish we had an image of it. It looks like it's a cross between a tank and a tractor, I guess, or a bus. It's a bus on caterpillar wheels, like a track, you know. But it's amazing. You go out onto a great glacier, the huge Columbia ice field. Some amazing, amazing views. So Rocky Mountaineer, first of all, the two images here are gold leaf. There's two different classes of travel, gold leaf and silver leaf. The package is based on the silver leaf pricing. Both of them have domed cars. So you see the windows in the top image on the left-hand side, both of them have that. The difference, one of the main differences, is that the gold leaf is sort of a double-decker carriage. So upstairs is the dome car where you sit and enjoy the view and have drinks and things. And then downstairs is a separate restaurant car. Meals are included for gold and silver leaf. In silver leaf, it's not a double decker, it's just one story as such, one deck. You still get the panoramic windows, but your meal is served at your seat where you're sat, basically. Here you've got, that's gold leaf, no one in it on the left-hand side. I mean, what's nice about gold leaf as well is you do get access to a little outdoor area, a little observational part at the end of a couple of carriages. It's nice to have a bit of fresh air, particularly in the Rockies, amazing mountain air, but to get some great photos as well. There's a guide on board who will be telling everyone about special sites and names of mountains and then giving you a good guide of the landscape you're passing through. I've got friends who have traveled on the train, and it is very kind of relaxed luxury is the best way they've described it. So when you're getting on in Vancouver in the morning, there's a big red carpet and a band and a welcoming presentation, champagne reception things. The food is amazing on board for both gold and silver leaf, and obviously the luxury of the Rocky Mountains that you're passing through as well makes it an unbelievable experience. But of course, Lake Louise is one of the places you pop on there as well. It's an amazing image. It's not particularly amended or updated, that image. That's what it looks like. That's how blue the lake is there. But Via Rail, the Canadian, that's a good image of the observational car. I think this one's better personally. So the observational car on the Via Rail is open to everybody. What do I mean by that? There's no reservations or designated seats in the observational car here. It's first come, first serve. So what the best thing to do is, as I did, is get up nice and early in the morning, see everyone down the stairs there getting their complimentary coffee or drinks, grab a coffee, grab a book, claim your seat by the window, and then see the sun coming through the Rocky Mountains. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Two bits of accommodation or onboard accommodation I'd like to look at. First of all, cabins for two. There's cabins for one as well, exactly the same, just smaller. But cabins for two, where two seats, big window. You've got a toilet as well close the door in the carriage. Shower facilities. There's a couple for every carriage. So there's not ensuite as such, but the shared shower facilities. And then you can see on the left-hand side and the right-hand side how it turns into sleeping accommodation. Now, the train is a very gentle service. It's a very big train, so it doesn't kind of rock around too much or bounce around. You haven't got to worry about falling out or anything like that. But there's also the prestige class as well. Now, there's a few of these cabins now. They just used to be 2 or 3. Now, I think it was about 4 or 5. Oh, 6. Sorry, 6. During the daytime, the day setup, it's a big kind of settee, one against one of those walls and across the wall where the pillows are as well. And then it folds down into a double bed. I mean, they're 50% bigger than the cabin for 2. So they're 50% bigger, much bigger. An L-shaped couch is what it is. You've got flat screen TV, you've got ensuite facilities on here as well, shower. You've got your own minibar with complimentary drinks, alcoholic and soft drinks included as well. Imagine waking up and being able to just look out the window at the end of your bed and seeing the Rocky Mountains like that. Amazing. And again, there's only 6 of these per train as well. So it's one of those things you need to get in there early to make sure you can get the space. Prestige class have their own lounge. They've got the bullet car, which is at the end of the train. So here you're sort of surrounded by windows. You've got your own private bar just for prestige customers as well. A little bit of luxury. All right, back to Europe and Switzerland in a way as well. So the Venice Simplon Orient Express, probably the most famous train in the world, I'd say. Here we've combined it, as you can see, with two of the most scenic trains in the world as well. The Glacier Express, we've seen already with the Excellence class, and the Benina Express, okay? Let's have a look at the VSOE first. So the journey from London to Venice, you're board in London Victoria about 10 o'clock in the morning. British Pullman classic carriages through to the coast. You've got a champagne-fueled lunch included on board there. Then you're whisked under the tunnel, through the tunnel under the channel on an executive coach through to Calais. And at Calais, you're on the find the Venice Simplon Express itself. Big brass band, all the staff are lined up in their liveries. Welcome you on board, show you to your cabin. Your luggage is there for you magically. 2 seatings for dinner. You pass through Paris in the evening. It's beautiful coming through Gare de l'Est because you can look up and see the Sacré-Cœur all lit up at night, very romantic. And then after dinner, you relax, and then in the morning you wake up and you're in Innsbruck station. The train stops at Innsbruck where it turns around. You can jump out, have a bit of fresh alpine air, stretch your legs. Enjoy lunch as you're passing through to Italy, and you're coming to Venice around about 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the afternoon. And with the train as well, you've got a complimentary group transfer. So a lovely Venetian boat takes you to your hotel. Okay. Here, 3 nights in Venice. You've got 2 full days. You've got a small group tour of the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica. If you haven't been to Venice before, it's amazing without any tours there, just the city on water itself. But the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica, you get a much better understanding of the history of the Venetian Republic and the riches of the Venetian Republic. From there, you're heading up into Switzerland. So in one day, you go to Milan, Tirano, and then onto the legendary Benina Express up to St. Moritz for 2 nights. Full length of the Glacier Express through to Zermatt for 2 nights. Day trip on the Gorner Grat again before heading up to Zurich for a flight back. The Venice Simplon Express only goes between March and October. Well, generally its last departure is first week of November. So there's a gap in kind of November until February, March where you can't go. That's the twin cabin, glass precariously balanced on the seat there, I see. But it's very comfortable. You see with the soft furnishings, incredibly comfortable, but the sheer craftsmanship of the woodwork is second to none. The train itself is a piece of art. It really is. It's an old train. It's historic. There are no ensuite facilities in the twin cabins. There's toilet facilities in each carriage at the end of the carriage, and there's 1 steward per carriage as well. So he's there to take care of your beck and calls. You can kind of see the hinge there on the right-hand side. That's a door. Now there are doors between each twin cabin. So normally locked and you can't hear the cabin next to you, but if you should wish, you could book 2 twin cabins together and have the door open. So you've always got a separate seating and always a separate sleeping area. If not, we'll have a look at the images shortly, but those seats obviously turn into a bunk bed. For something a bit special, there's the grand suites as well. Here, about 3 times the size of a twin cabin, double bed. You've got ensuite facilities here. You've got a butler who's going to take care of all your needs completely. Amazing. See, separate seating area, separate sleeping area, double bed, ensuite facilities. Amazing. The lounge car. Of course, the VSOE, Belmont, Venice Simplon Express have kind of had to take into account social distancing on board the trains, etc. At the end of the day, it's quite a compact, small train. So they're pretty much for until further news, further down the line next year, they've essentially halved the capacity. Okay, so 1 cabin will be left open, free, and the other cabin will be booked, and so and so and so. The bar car, which is generally the heart and soul of the train, they've had to close the bar car because it's quite small. It's a bit of a squash and a squeeze, really. But what they have done, the lounge car and the dining cars that we've kept open, they've left them open throughout the whole journey. So they'll be serving drinks from the bar car. So you sit here and kind of play games, have a game of chess or socialise with the passengers, and they'll serve you drinks there. But the bar car, sadly, is closed until further notice. But honestly, one plus point of this in my eyes is not just the lounge car, but the dining car as well. The dining car traditionally is just open for when at mealtime, but it's open throughout the whole journey now. And these are the real pieces of art in my eyes. You got three of them, I think, too. The Côte d'Azur and the Oriental, each of them very different in personality, with the amazing glasswork, very Art Deco in style, black lacquer paneling, the soft furnishings. Absolutely gorgeous, and it's nice that you kind of passengers get to spend a bit more time in these things, as well as, of course, the meal time, and the food is amazing, just breathtaking what they're able to achieve in the kitchens, the service. You can see all by the china and the glassware, but the service itself is amazing as well. All the meals are, of course, included. Drinks, wine at dinner and things like that, or drinks in the bar. You pay for those at the end of the journey. Okay. And here's a twin cabin at night. So here you can see the door is open up. So the cabin next to over there is where it's set up for a night time. Up and bunk beds, very, very comfortable. There's plenty of storage space underneath as well, so you ain't got to worry about hanging your luggage. If you've got larger luggage, you can check it in and they'll take care of it forward. Next to the door, so on the very left right-hand side, there's a closet that opens up and there's a sink there and sort of a shaver, plug, things like that. But again, no showers on board for the standard twin cabin accommodation. It is I said, it's the most famous train in the world, I guess, really, and it's an experience and a half traveling on it. It's something else, it really is. There's no other train that has sort of the heritage and the beauty in terms of the onboard experience, the onboard train itself. Unbelievable experience, it really is. Now, strangely enough, I'm going to say that about this train as well. Benina Express, I met my wife on this train, so I've got a lot of time for it. And the scenery on this train, it's often seen many people's top 3 train journeys in the world because of the scenery, and rightly so. It's very, very special, really is. On this holiday we're talking about, we're taking it northbound. You're taking it from Tirano, tiny little town in northern Italy, up to San Moritz in Switzerland. And you're traveling during the spring and summer, palm tree lined valley in Tirano, climbing up into some of the highest peaks in Switzerland through Graubünden region. You're passing amazing lakes like this. You're going over the Brusio Viaduct, which is like a spiral, 360-degree circuit that goes up. You're going over the Landwasser Viaduct. You do that on the Glacier Express. On this one, it shares the Landwasser Viaduct with the Benina Express. But you see there the panoramic carriages. It's breathtaking. It's about 4 hours in total, and it really is an absolute joy to travel on. And then the Glacier Express. We've looked at the excellence class. It does, of course, have first and second class as well. Both first and second have the panoramic windows. They have a bar car on board as well at the moment. There's no walking through the train just due to social distancing, but it's all right. Further down the line, fingers crossed, you can get a meal on board and serve a meal to your seat. If you order it on board, no problem at all, they'll serve it to your seat. They've got new carriages now as well, where you can open some of the windows at the end of the door at the end of the carriage as well. It doesn't depart a little window in the year in November, so between midway through October till middle of December, the Glacier Express can't run. It's the only train that runs the full length on the route, and just due to the weather, it can't run. So the rest of the year it's running, and it's called the slowest express train in the world. As I said, it's about 8.5 hours, but average speeds are about 30 miles an hour. It's ridiculous, nearly 300 bridges and 90 odd tunnels that it goes through. But it's an amazing scenery. It's crossing Switzerland by train. Yeah. So yeah, that was the Venice Express, combining it with Switzerland. Plenty of other combinations as well. You can, of course, just take it to Venice or Venice to London, and that's it. Some accommodation there, but why not make the most of it here? Venice Express to Venice with Lake Garda and Lake Como. So travel down there 2 nights in each. 2 nights Venice, 2 nights Termini, 2 nights Como, a night in Milan before flying back to the UK. Again, any UK airport, not just London. Venice, Florence, and Rome, classic combination. Take the Orient Express to Venice, 2 nights in each, and then fly back. Up to £4,700 per person. Again, the package price, including all the travel, the accommodation. Accommodation-wise, on average, 4-star hotel accommodation, including breakfast as well. There's even more. There's even more. The Golden Eagle, Trans-Siberian, Moscow to Vladivostok and vice versa. There's only about 4 departures each year. It's really limited. 15 days in total. So over £13,000 per person. Absolute luxury. The train itself, spectacular. Champagne every night. Complimentary bottle of vodka in the cabin as well. Amazing off-board experiences. I mean, having a barbecue next to Lake Baikal, the largest lake in the world, in the heart of Siberia, having a barbecue and going out for a boat trip there, popping your head into Mongolia to say hello as well. You know, unbelievable stuff. The Eastern Oriental Express from Bangkok to Singapore, flying out to Thailand. Combine it with a beach holiday in Thailand would be something else, wouldn't it? Really amazing. Here, just under £4,000 per person. So overnight in Bangkok, 3 nights on board the train, and then 2 nights in Singapore as well. And then even down in South Africa is the Blue Train, legendary Blue Train, absolute luxury on board. See the lounge car in the image there? That's at the end of the train, so you can see the track behind you and just sitting there enjoying a drink. Of course, the train, but I mean the wildlife in South Africa as well. Getting out to the Sabi Sands Game Reserve. There's some safari action out there as well. An amazing holiday. Well, I hope that's whetted the appetite a little bit. I do. If you haven't had a chance, please have a look at railbookers.co.uk. That's where you'll get much more information. Destinations, of course, will take you to all the countries in the world that we offer holidays, and holiday types. I mean, there's going to be luxury trains, scenic trains, lakes and mountains, sleeper trains, blue trains, red trains. You get the idea, lots of different ideas. And special offers is always worth having a look at as well. And if you've enjoyed this, the next webinar is coming up in the new year, 12th of January, top 5 no-fly holidays for 2021. A week after that, luxury rail experiences with the Railbookers. And 2 weeks after that, Switzerland, Italy, and beyond, the top 5 holidays. Well, I hope that helped. Questions? Any questions? Malcolm, very sorry. I think there is a bit of a technical hitch with the handouts. What we'll do, though, is I'll make sure that the map and any other details are emailed out to you later on today. Okay, sorry about that. I think there was a note at the beginning of the webinar talking about handouts, but the handouts tab doesn't appear to be working at the moment. So sorry about that. Lee, absolutely, yeah. As I said, it's independence traveling, so there's no group at all. Okay, generally, we have couples, but we also have people traveling on their own. We also have families traveling as well. But every holiday, every person taking a holiday, it's going to be a different holiday. You can, as I said, you can tailor make the holiday. You don't have to abide by what it says here. You've got a selection of hotels in all destinations. You can, on the whole, generally in most destinations, change the class of travel from standard to first class or vice versa. Paul, so yeah, okay, as I said, so all our holidays are completely unique and exclusive, as mentioned. So there's no other people joining the holiday with other people. It's booking through other means, booking themselves. A lot of these holidays are very difficult to be booked independently, just in terms of trying to use the different rail operators, tie it all in together with the different ground agents as well. Of course, there's financial savings. I don't have any actual percentage in mind as such. I don't think there is a certain overall percentage, but obviously do bear in mind you get the assistance as well along the way. So any issues you may encounter, or any issues that might impact your journey, we're there on hand to be able to assist and guide you. We're there to make sure you get the right seats. These trains, for example, the booking windows are generally 3 months prior to departure. You can't actually guarantee or claim that book these seats until 3 months before departure. We have access to the booking systems for the rail operators to be able to do that long before they're made available to the general public. We can guarantee you the best seats and the best service. You can always email us with any particular inquiry you have, or the best thing to do, honestly, is just to give us a call as well. Our kind of team at the end of the phone are very well traveled, very well knowledgeable. They can answer any questions and also give you more up-to-date pricing as well. Mostly good question. So what time frame do you get to make any changes to itinerary? So if you've booked an itinerary already, as said, you can, if you've got a holiday booked, you've got the maximum flexibility offer in place, so you can chop and change or postpone the trip up to 5 days prior without incurring any fees from us. The payment terms, in terms of making a payment, so it's just a small deposit to secure the holiday, around about 200, 150 pounds per person, sorry, 300 pounds per couple is the average. And then the remaining balance wouldn't be due until 3 months prior to the trip. Now, within that period, generally, we'll be as accommodating as possible in terms of making any amendments that you might need to make, any timetable changes, etc., anything like that. But it really depends in terms of what changes you might be looking to make. The closer to departure you get, obviously, we do running in the problems of particularly trains, for example, not being any seats left on the train or any accommodation, hotel accommodation, that may be kind of diminishing in availability, which is actually a bit of a problem we're running into at the moment for certain destinations next year already. A lot of people obviously weren't able to travel this year, have sort of moved their dates to next year, and more people are getting in there early and booking their holidays already for next summer, particularly with our already availability problems. Gerald, good question. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can do wherever needed. We can provide hotel transfers to airports and vice versa. Also, the train stations. I mean, you know, one of the joys of traveling by train is generally the station is in the heart of the city. So if it's a short walk to the hotel, we'll obviously advise you. But if it's a taxi you'd need, we'll tell you. But if you'd rather we book a transfer for you, we could do that as well. I mean, I mentioned in Venice with the VSOE, you get a transfer included, which is lovely. It's a shared boat from the station to your hotel. We can also offer a private boat experience, which is a wonderful way of arriving or departing Venice, particularly if you need to get to the airport there. Gently going up the Grand Canal in a beautiful kind of wooden speedboat, and then crossing over the lagoon to the airport as well. Really is a lovely way of seeing the city. Right, well, thanks ever so much, everybody. And I really hope you've enjoyed it. I really hope you found it helpful. If you have any specific questions for me, don't hesitate in dropping me an email, gareth.jones@railbookers.com. Have a look at the website as well, or any other questions you might have or inquiries. Don't hesitate and give us a call. Have a good evening, or have a good rest of the day. Have a good evening. Merry Christmas. I know it seems ridiculous saying it this time of the year, but this year being what it is, I think it's really well. We're wishing people Merry Christmas as early as possible. Merry Christmas. Have a great new year. Stay healthy, everybody. And take care. Bye-bye.